everyone, Jacob's Quest, and today I just finished watching Season 2, Episode 14 of The Bad Batch. And yeah, we got, 2 episodes after this. We are finally, really setting in the pieces to go to this epic Mount Tantus conclusion of whatever happens at the end. I think the most exciting thing is that whereas they gave a lot of critics and reviewers access to the first 15 episodes of the season, which I don't know why they did that, no one has actually seen the finale yet. So that's the really exciting thing. So, whereas you see people kind of hinting on Twitter about what they're going to see this episode, which again, it's baffling why they would give them that many episodes. I don't know how they came to that decision. Anyways, but yeah, we got 2 more episodes after this, and we're finally ramping up, and it feels like we should have been doing this a little bit sooner, but we're here, we're doing it, it's happening. We meet up with Rex and Echo, who, along with a couple other guys, we got Gregor there, and Wolf might already be amongst them. Look, there are people out there who can tell you every single clone name. They can look at a clone helmet and they can instantly tell you exactly who that is. I'm not one of those people. I know a handful of the clones, so as you'll see, people will be like, oh, that's Fixer, that's Fireball, they'll tell you like some clone that was in 2 episodes of a show. I'm like, I don't remember that clone. Anyways, but yeah, basically Rex and Echo have a bunch of clones with them, and they're on a rescue mission to save even more clones who have been arrested for questioning orders. And they make it a point, even Tarkin says later in this episode, more and more clones have been questioning their orders, right? So whatever is going on with that chip in Order 66, apparently it is not like a foolproof permanent thing. It must be just like a, for the moment impulse kind of control, but long term, it definitely does not seem to be like, all commanding of their will, right? Like they still seem to have some kind of free will. So, that's interesting. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but that's how it's been displayed so far. Anyway, so they save a bunch of clones, and what they don't know is that, these people were being shipped to Mount Tantus, and they don't know that yet. But they managed to save all these clones, and I think, who was the one that we saw last season? He had a cool haircut, and everyone was like, oh my god, look at his haircut. I don't remember which one he was. Anyways, I think he's also one of the clones that they save. Anyways, so they meet up with Senator Chuchi, who is, of course, we saw her earlier in this season, and she's been the one who's gonna secretly start helping the clones. And we get an interesting thing here, where basically we're told that the clones, Rex and Echo, they have not just the crew that's going around saving clones, but they also have clones that are underground trying to lay low, and then they have clones that are still within the Empire just trying to, give them information when they can, right? So my big thing, of course, is so what happens to all these clones? Because by the time Rebels comes around, it's just the 3 of them hanging out in the middle of nowhere, on a big walker, right? And that's just their home, and they're not doing anything. They're not fighting the Empire anymore. They're doing nothing. So all I'm saying is it seems like something goes horribly wrong with all these clones, because they saved all these people, and it's somehow this dwindles down to 3 people. And we also don't see Senator Chuchi anywhere, so starting to think maybe she's not around anymore either. So I'm not expecting things to end well, is what I'm saying. Anyways, so they were only able to download a part of the encrypted data from the ship that they rescued all these people from, and they need to break into that data and de-encrypt it, I guess. And the only person they know how to do that would be Tech. So of course we have Rex and Echo going back with the Bad Batch, where they've been living out on this island that we saw last episode, and they've been having this peaceful life, and they're still thinking about just staying here, and they're kind of debating whether they should or shouldn't, but for the most part, they seem to be having a good life there. So it's yeah, why not stay here when, of course, something's going to go horribly wrong. And so, of course, Tech is able to de-encrypt the data, and they find out oh yeah, the ship was taking you to some kind of super secret hideout place, and we have the science department of something. I don't remember what it was called, but it was a super secret science department of the Empire. And of course we know it's Mount Tantus and cloning and all that stuff. They do figure out the doctor's name, Dr. Hemlock, I think his name is. Which, by the way, Dr. Hemlock, he has a bunch of scenes with Crosshair this episode, and I don't know what's going on with the voice work here. This guy loves to, like, he does like really low sounding kind of whisper talk, and he likes to inhale and exhale really slowly, and like he does that the whole episode, and like that's just how he talks. And like several times in the episode he breathes in real deep and then sighs, and I'm like, okay, this is just like this guy's thing. I mean, it's creepy, but it's like, all right, guy, you're breathing a lot here. I don't like the way you're doing that. Anyways, but yeah, so basically it turns out that Crosshair had tried to warn them. He tried to escape and warn the crew that, oh hey, they're after you guys and they're after Omega. So Crosshair is, it's like, I guess he's fully against the Empire, fully a good guy. I mean, well, at least he doesn't hate his brothers, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't hate the Bad Batch. Like, obviously he was willing to go along with the lie that they were dead this whole season, when of course they were not. So he tries to send them an emergency warning, and they're able to find that, and so they're like, okay, I guess Crosshair might have gone against the Empire. So now they're basically like, okay, well, now we gotta save him, right? Like, he's gonna turn over a new leaf, and he's captured again. Crosshair's captured again because like they filter in all this toxins, and he gets knocked out. And then here comes Dr. Hemlock. He's like, I've built an immunity to this toxin, and he takes another deep breath, and I'm like, oh my god, guys, stop breathing so much, you weirdo. Anyways, and basically, yeah, so he's trying to torture Crosshair into telling him exactly where the Bad Batch is and where Omega is, but he's already sent out a warning to them, which means they're probably going to come right to this place and try to save him, doing the exact thing that he doesn't want them to do. Like he's trying to make sure they don't get Omega. But of course, if they go save Crosshair, they're bringing Omega right to them. So yeah, that's probably what's going to end up exactly happening. Now, there is something, there's a theory going around that the lady in the goggles, the science lady, I don't remember her name, there's a theory that she is also a clone, kind of like Omega. And it's because, the people were like, well, she's got similar eyes to the clones, and she's got an accent sort of kind of like Omega, and there's a lot of people putting theories around. I don't know how much I buy that. I don't know how much that would matter. What would not surprise me, and again, maybe I'm dumb, I don't think they've given her a name yet, is what I'm saying. If they have, then I'm already wrong, but I don't think they have. If they haven't given her a name yet, it would not surprise me to learn that her last name is Pershing, because in The Mandalorian, Dr. Pershing's whole thing was about how his mother was a researcher and a scientist, and then she got sick, and that motivated him to get into cloning and do this and that. And I'm like, hey, I'm just saying, like, she was working in this cloning department already, and she's got the same uniform on. And so if they're like, oh yeah, her last name's Pershing, and then she gets sick, and then she has a son, and then he gets inspired to get into the same line of science, like, I don't know, it would work. It doesn't have to be that way. Like, I just think it would be like a fun, like, oh hey, look, these two shows that are airing at the same time kind of interacted in that fun way, I don't know, who knows. I think it would be fun. But anyways, does the timeline even match up? I think it does, because this is early Empire, whereas obviously Mandalorian is post-Empire, so I think the timeline matches up for her to be Dr. Pershing's mom. I mean, Pershing could be like 10 or something like that, right? It makes sense. I think it makes sense. Anyways, so yeah, that's pretty much all we got this episode. The Bad Batch is of course going to end up trying to save Crosshair, and then in the process, like, oh, they gave the Empire exactly what they wanted. They wanted Omega to be there. And remember, the whole point of getting Omega here was that they could then kind of use her as a threat against Nala Se to get Nala Se to participate in their science. Now, you know, that would mean they would have to have Omega for a while as a oh my god, how am I blanking on the word? As a hostage. There you go. They'd have to have Omega as a hostage for a while in order for Nala Se to get, I guess, anything accomplished, unless they're just looking for one specific cloning secret to be unlocked, and they need Nala Se to tell them. So I don't know exactly what the plan is here, but we only got 2 more episodes, and maybe the season ends with them losing Omega, or maybe, you know, again, all these clones. We don't have all these clones later. All these clones that Rex and Echo are saving, like they're not around, you know. So there's only like 3 of them that bother to participate in the rebellion. So what happens to all these other ones they're saving? Where are they going? I mean, I guess they could all just retire and not fight, but I don't know. Seems like something bad's gonna happen. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think might happen in the finale. Is that lady Dr. Pershing's mom? I think it lines up. I think the timeline matches, maybe just barely. I don't know. Anyways, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.